And yes, we promised you that Mr. James Morgan would be kind enough to join us from the FIU Golden Panthers.
Yes,
Pause up.
Pause up, baby. Let's go.
I never thought you guys would beat dude. I got to tell you, that's a hell of an accomplishment for you guys. I was
Appreciate that.
Like, okay, they're not going to win this game, and you guys. Talk to me about that night, dude. That
yes,
had to have been sweet for a lot of guys in that locker room.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it.
Any of the guys that are locally there, born and bred there, that must have been that's the biggest win of their careers.
Definitely. Well, there was a lot of, just like you said, a lot of local guys there, a lot of relationships, a lot of guys who, had maybe wanted to go to Miami growing up, and they had a great team. They got some guys down here who are absolute studs are playing with this week, and you can just see how athletic they are. But definitely, it was a great win for our program. For the university in general, it was the response to it when we came back. They were like banging pots and pans and everything when our bus got back, and the support we got from the university was just incredible. I know it meant a lot to Coach, especially having come from there. So man, great win.
How was Coach preparing you guys for that game? Could you tell that he wanted that game badly?
He didn't really show it, but I think we all kind of knew. And, I think he did a really good job like every single week. Because the cool thing about Coach is that he had like kind of he'd been there before. So he had a situation like that we should be thinking about for every game because he had it with the Cowboys or he had it with Miami back in the day. So he did a great job, man, getting confidence in us and, that game too.
What do you think that does for the program?
I hope that it just kind of propels it forward a little bit, shows that it's legitimate, and it's a program that's on the rise. And I think Coach Davis, since he's been there, he's been establishing this culture, right? And it just continues building, and trademark wins like that are something that helps that get along. So I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, you listen, if you can build on this, then you start to make that program take that next step.
Yes, sir. Right.
You know what I mean? And so for you now, you're ready to take that next step. So
yes,
so talk to me about this process now. How does your mentality change from what you were doing with FIU and now this here?
Right. That's an interesting question. I think I've always had the confidence in myself and knowing that I can play in the NFL and that I have that type of talent. It's always been my dream growing up and my goal. So in that regard, every season I've worked as hard as I can to try to make that a possibility. And now it's interesting because now it's exclusively football, and now it's a business, and now it's everything that's involved with training yourself, doing everything you absolutely can. And I'm really excited about it. Opportunities like this is phenomenal to be here and be around such great competition and showcase my stuff, and just great, man. Can't wait for it.
All right, that's interesting. So did you get nervous when you're taking the field and you have all these critical eyes on you? And it's fans and media jerks like me, who cares? but when you've got these kind of guys that are watching every little thing that you do.
Right. No, I really wasn't nervous, and I think the reason for that is just because I know how good an opportunity this is. It's fantastic to be able to, be with all these guys who are great competition and showcase that I belong there. And I really believe that. And so, no, man, it's football. It's something I've done my whole life, and I'm looking forward to spinning it some more.
I got to tell you something. One of the things that I thought was really cool on your part, I'm watching practice today, and you please, Big O or anything. No,
right.
sir.
You got Big O. Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say it again.
I'm old, man. I know. Okay, so one of the things that I loved that I watched about you was there was a moment when you guys were doing your team drills, and you went to the right side to explain something to one of your guys.
Right.
And you guys just got together on Monday.
Right.
You barely know these guys. How important is it for you, James, to be a communicator and those kind of things? Because I saw a lot of leadership in that moment from you, and I think that that's important for a quarterback. I think a quarterback can't be a dude that's a hermit crab, dude, and just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just worry about myself. You can't do that.
I agree. I think communication is key, and I'm a stickler for the little details. I love the absolute minute details that make a play, because football is a game of inches, and you're an inch away sometimes from a big play or not having that situation. So I think those are really important. But I would agree. I think as a leader, a quarterback needs to be a vocal guy, but also a guy that leads by example and talking about stuff like working really hard and making sure his teammates know that he really cares about them and he cares about the game. So all that stuff goes into it, and I'm just being me out there, and that's who I am as a player. That's what I do, and yeah.
All right. So, what are you trying to prove this week? What's the knock right now on James Morgan that you feel you need to show the NFL
Right.
folks?
Well, I think there's a stigmatism with these small schools, and hopefully it's kind of being worn away a little bit. But the competition, right? Like the competition in Conference USA isn't as good as some of these Power Five schools, and that's why I think games like the Miami game this year could change that mentality going forward. I think you're seeing more and more of an even playing field. But definitely just to showcase that I have an NFL skill set against some great competition. You look at the defenders we've been playing against, and they're phenomenal. The receivers are phenomenal. And then I want to go in here and show scouts with my film and with my play that I belong. I can throw this. I have the NFL arm strength, accuracy, and anticipation to have success at this next level.
All right, you listen. You talk small school on your team. Mason Kinsey.
Yep.
I never heard
How about
of
that?
Barry, dude.
I tell you, he was doing some good stuff today, man.
And all that kid is doing is smoking people, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, he made a couple catches in the corner of the end zone today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell is this kid? And Barry, I mean, I know Barry University in our backyard.
Yeah, right.
But
That's what I thought.
Barry, I'm like, where the hell is Barry?
Yeah.
What the heck? And I'm looking at him going, man, this kid's showing some people out there. So you want small school and showing people up there.
Right. Well, that's the cool thing about this game is that it's all, the school stuff aside, it's all a 53-yard field. It's a 100-yard field by 53. It's the same playing field, and you just go here and you show your stuff. And that's the really cool thing about it is you have the opportunity to do that, and I think that's great for guys like that who have the opportunity and are going out and making the most of it.
Aaron Parker's another kid that I like, man. I'm from Rhode Island. I don't watch Rhode Island football, dude.
Yeah.
Small school,
right,
you know what I mean? But I'm watching
making
him.
plays.
I really like the guard.
Yeah.
I'm
for sure.
a big fan of the guard. I'd like to see him in a Dolphin uniform.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I think he's. I think he's a player that's going to.
We got some impressive linemen out there. That's for sure.
I like the guy from Michigan too.
Yeah.
The offensive.
He's been playing well.
Guard. I think he's a guy that. Now for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not a BSer, so
sure.
I talk to a lot of NFL teams. The one question that I will say they talk about is your arm strength.
Okay.
What do you tell them that, and what are you trying to show out there when it comes to arm strength?
So they are saying that I don't necessarily have the arm strength?
Yeah, the strong arm. You don't have
sure.
Like maybe the kid that's next to you in Princeton might have a little stronger arm.
Interesting. That's not my belief, and if you want to look at my film, I think that would showcase that, but I'm always working on stuff like that. Always working on core strength. Always working on, being the most efficient with my throwing form and stuff like that. So I really, I honestly,
you make all the throws out there.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've watched you. You can make all the throws, but that's what
Sure.
That's what the small school thing is.
Sure.
And I go, okay, well, I got to see his arm.
Sure.
By the way, I hear that about Joe Burrow.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
They still want to see him throw that 20-yard out that he can throw with some mustard on it.
Right.
Because obviously in the next league, I always joke around that in college you guys have sliding glass door windows.
Sure.
In the NFL, it's a bathroom window.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because you tell me because you play the position, I don't. I'm just a big mouth behind the mic. But you're two different kind of quarterbacks. You either can do what Cam Newton can do, and you can wait for the receiver to throw the break and just fire it because you got a rifle.
Right.
Or you got to be Drew Brees, that you don't have the rifle, so you have to be an anticipatory thrower, and you're throwing to a spot. So I think they're trying to figure out, are you the anticipatory thrower, or are you the guy that has the gun can throw it on the break?
Well, I think for me, and as a quarterback,
Am I off on that assessment, by the way?
Personally, I would say so, but I appreciate the fact that
your assessment. I'm telling you on the difference of the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, I think, and that's probably the biggest thing, right, is the windows are so much shorter. Like you said, you need to throw that when he's about to break down so that it gets to him when he's open, because if you just throw it when he's open, that window is going to be shut by the time you get there.
Yes.
100% agree with that. Personally, I really believe I can make every throw on the field. I really do. And I never have felt like an arm strength has been an issue for me. But I do think that even with that, you need to still have the anticipation, right? And that's something that I tried to work on throughout the game. Because
touch is all about anticipation.
100%. Yes, 100%. And it's all about, like sometimes you might be able to, because personally, right, sometimes I feel like I have a big arm. I might be able to make some throws, but can I make them sooner? Can I make them right when he's open and not like make it a tighter window? And I think that's something that as my game has got on, has evolved a little bit.
So let me ask you, how's the quarterback room? Because
Yeah.
I see you guys are very complimentary, but there's got to be some kind of at least fun competition.
Oh, for sure. I think we're all competitors, but it's awesome to be around those guys. There's two great guys, Kevin Davidson and Tommy Stevens. Those guys are hard workers.
I had them both on. They were both
okay, so they're
both cool.
Oh, for sure. No, and it's great, man. It's great. We're all helping each other out, building each other. But we're competitors. It's the nature of the position, and it's really fun to go and sling it with those guys, and obviously wish them the best of success.
Yeah, Tommy likes rock, so we really hit it off.
Okay.
So what kind of music you listen to?
Oh, I listen to all different types.
Okay.
I'm not.
I turned him on yesterday to Greta Van Fleet. He had never heard Greta Van Fleet.
Okay.
Because he came in with a Nirvana shirt. So
yeah.
Like, okay, young guy, Nirvana shirt.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, I'll tell you what. Miami, right?
Yes.
Miami guys. Interesting how Spanish music a little bit. A couple of those songs. My girlfriend speaks Spanish, so she's kind of translating them for me, and I'm starting. Okay, like. So
what
this
nationality is her girlfriend?
Okay, so she's half Cuban.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. My parents are Cuban.
Okay.
Yeah. Born here, but I was.
Yeah.
I was actually born in Belglade, Florida.
Okay.
How about that?
How about that?
There, northwestern Palm Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a freak, dude. I'm a real Floridian. I mean,
how about that?
How many people can actually say they're real Floridians? I mean, everybody else. I call our area of the country in South Florida the sixth borough because we're full of New Yorkers.
Yeah.
I mean, they all wuss out from the freezing and then they come down there
exactly
and retire.
Well, you talk about a guy like me from the Midwest, and now you come to South Florida, completely ends the spectrum.
You're going, where am I going to go to college?
Yeah.
Miami. Come on, man.
Exactly, man. It's interesting, though, real quick. It's and that's something I hope that scouts know about me is I can play up in the cold when it's freezing, and I can play down in the heat in Miami because had to get acclimated to that for sure. That humidity in the summer is no joke, especially that first camp. That was something I had to get through. But, is a location-wise, otherwise, yes, sir, it's a good place.
That is awesome. Let me ask you, James, what is the hardest thing? Because I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We go to the park, right? And there's 8 or 10 of us. And we want to play a game, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. Usually there's only one dude that can throw the ball, right? And we all want to be on that side.
Yeah.
The other guy on the other team probably can't throw it too well. But the thing about throwing a football is either you have it or you don't, right? And when you have it, you can play with people you've never played with, and you'll figure out the depth perception, and you will hit them on target. What is that challenge when you take the field and now you're playing with a group of receivers you've never played before?
Right.
Because you've got to be that kid that everybody wants to be on the team because you're the only one that can actually throw.
Right. I think there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve just getting around the guys and kind of feeling them out and stuff like that. But I think that's why reps and stuff like that are so crucial. You got to take every single rep like it's a deliberate rep, a game rep, so you get used to how they run it and how they come out of their break and how they do stuff like that. So it helps having a big arm and being able to kind of use those like anticipation things that we said before to kind of locate when they're breaking and be able to throw it right before there so they come out with it. But I definitely think that's a rep thing. That's something that I think me and the receivers at FIU worked really hard in the summer to the point where it was almost like second nature where we would know where we were going without having to say anything at all. And that was what's really cool. And I think that's what you're looking for with a relationship quarterback receiver.
Yeah, the first day, I always tell people when this is my 21st year of coming to the East West, and I'll be next week at the senior, but I always tell folks that after the first day, I don't go crazy because it's the first day. All these guys haven't played with each other. It's just not fair.
Right.
Second, third days, pressure starts to build, and you got to start producing. You got to start figuring it out, that kind of stuff.
Right.
All right, so James Morgan, by the way, from FIU joining us. Tell me how... Because the quarterback, I think, more than any other position, gets tested in these meetings.
Oh, yeah.
So how have they challenged you? Give me an example.
There's been some really cool stuff. So a lot of the people have, draw up a play, describe it, go in as much detail as possible. And that's something quarterback you have to excel at. Now, some of the new era technology that a couple of teams have introduced in this process have been really interesting. You get like a tablet and it flashes for like not even a split portion of a second, like literally there and gone. And it says what coverage is this, and you have to do that so many times. Then you get the same look a little bit slower, but still same type of thing, like flashes for a second, boom, and it's gone. So it's been definitely interesting to see kind of some of
testing your memory.
mental, yeah, 100%, right. And that's a good point too. There's a couple other, so you got the memory ones, and then there's a couple other like personality tests, rate which is most important to you, and it's two good traits. Like confidence, loyalty, or something like that, and you got to pick between the two. So it's very interesting, kind of how they, mentally with the memory and with the personality, kind of gauge you as a player.
I'll give you an example: Carson Wentz and
Yeah.
Jared Goff.
Okay.
I got a coach that was in one of the coaching staffs that interviewed both quarterbacks.
Yes, sir.
And Big O.
Yeah, I know.
And so he told me the story, right, where the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach,
Yeah.
the offensive line coach, all met with him, and then they put him in different scenarios, and he had to describe the coverages,
Right.
what he would have to do, align the protections, all that stuff, right?
Right.
And then and he had to. They had chairs, and he had to then set everything up, right?
Yeah.
So they walked him through all of that, right? Quickly answering those questions.
Right.
Then after they asked him a test on all of that stuff. Carson Wentz has a photographic type memory.
Yeah.
He remembered it all.
Wow.
Jared Goff couldn't remember half of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. One more thing to add on to this: the other tests that we've been administered here at the at the place, not by NFL people, has been like this test that measures how you learn. So it's very interesting to see, like, you got all these different types of tasks, and different guys will come back and say, this is really challenging for me, or this one's really challenging for me. And then you think, oh, I thought that was pretty easy, but I thought that one was tough. And he's saying it's easy. So guys learn in very different ways, but quarterback especially, you're going to get all types of stuff thrown at you with that. Yeah, for sure.
No doubt about that, man.
Yeah.
James Morgan from FIU. James, hey, man, wish you the best, my brother.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Keep slinging it. Keep doing it, man, and hope your dream comes alive, man.
No doubt. Appreciate it. Big O.
Thank you. There you go, James.
Thanks, man.
All right, my man. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back in 1 minute, right? We got another guest? Is that what we're doing? What do we got?
We have Shaheem Carter from Alabama. Yes,
okay,
the kid
good.
we've been watching all week.
Yes. All right, we're going to talk to Shaheem in just a second. Back in 1 minute.